Coco Gauff versus Sabalenka, the quiet counterattack that rocked the entire WTA. The whole world watched Aryna Sabalenka claim victory. She roared on the court, celebrating like she had just defeated a major force, and everyone thought, Coco Gauff has failed. But there was one thing no one knew. The real match only began after that cold handshake. Amidst the camera flashes and cheers, a strange silence descended over the stands where coach Gavin McMillan had just stood up, leaving his seat mid-match. He was Sabalenka's right-hand man. He had helped her climb to the world #1 spot. But over a single argument, right there on the court, he was unceremoniously dismissed. No thanks. No look of apology. Sabalenka turned away, as if he had never existed. And that's when Coco Gauff stepped in. Not with a powerful forehand or a blistering fast game, but with a decision, a silent message. She reached out to Gavin, the man her direct rival had just discarded, and invited him to join her team. No one expected it. No one believed it. But it was true. Coco Gauff had hired the very coach Sabalenka had just fired. This was more than just a clever counterattack. This was a statement that she wouldn't win by humiliating others. She would win with respect by protecting the values being undermined in modern sports. You might think tennis is just about shots and titles. But in that moment, Coco redefined the concept of winning. And if you think the story stops there, think again. Because at the 14-minute mark, a never-before-revealed detail will make you look at this entire drama through completely different eyes. Subscribe to Pro Tennis 360 today so you don't miss the truth behind the glamour, where titles are not everything. The origin of the breakdown. Who pushed Gavin out of the game? Before becoming the focus of the shocking transfer in women's tennis, Gavin McMillan was indispensable to Aryna Sabalenka's team. A low-profile strategist, he was the man behind Sabalenka's thunderous serves and her unbelievable winning streaks in 2023. They weren't just a coach and an athlete, they were a perfectly matched duo. But that seemingly solid bond disintegrated in a way no one expected. It all started at the WTA Finals semifinal. Sabalenka, down on the score, began to show her frustration. The camera caught her yelling at Gavin right on the court, a rare sight in professional tennis. Initially, many considered it just a heated moment, but the expression on Gavin's face was different. It was hurt. Few knew that before this match, the two had argued intensely over tactics and the approach to the game. Gavin proposed a more defensive playstyle, while Sabalenka, always leaning toward offense, vehemently disagreed. The climax came when Gavin stood up, leaving the coaching box mid-match. For a professional coach, this is strictly forbidden. But the action spoke more than any explanation. He didn't just leave over a disagreement. He left because he was humiliated by the very person he had helped take to the top. After the controversial loss, Sabalenka held a press conference. She did not apologize. Instead, she shifted the blame. "I felt he was intentionally trying to distract me." A quote that sent shockwaves through the tennis community. Was it fair for a coach to be pushed out for daring to speak the truth? Or was Sabalenka becoming a victim of her own massive ego? But the story didn't end there. Gavin didn't disappear. He merely stepped back temporarily, waiting for the right person to bring him back to the big stage. Do you think Gavin should have left sooner? Or do you believe Sabalenka went too far? Comment your thoughts, because the real plot twist is still ahead. Coco Gauff, the fateful handshake that shook the tennis world. There are decisions in sports that come not from tactics or technique, but from character. And Coco Gauff, at 21, surprised the world by making a move that could change her entire career. She invited Gavin McMillan to join her team, just days after he was fired by Sabalenka. Why Gavin? She could have chosen any other coach. But Coco didn't choose for fame. She chose for respect. In the match against Sabalenka, Coco wasn't just a player across the net. She was also the witness to the entire crisis unfolding in the opponent's coaching box. She saw a coach being yelled at, publicly insulted, and then abandoned. Without saying much, Coco's silence as she left the court that day was the answer. She didn't react to Sabalenka, didn't criticize, But when she learned Gavin was out of the team, she immediately reached out. It was a handshake that was not just tactical, but a confirmation. I stand with those who are undervalued. Experts were perplexed. The media erupted. Was this a sophisticated counterstrike from Coco, or simply a choice from a heart? The questions remained unanswered, but one thing was certain. Gavin's presence on Gauff's team immediately changed the atmosphere. No longer the young player searching for identity, Coco became the leader of something bigger, a movement of respect and ethics in sports. And it was at the very first practice session with Gavin that Coco said a sentence that silenced the entire team. "I don't need anyone to teach me how to win. I need someone to help me win the right way." 3 days after the loss, no one saw Coco on social media. No posts, no statements, no stories about emotion or disappointment. She disappeared as if to distance herself from the noise, but in reality, she was preparing for a mental comeback. On Wednesday morning, she appeared at the Miami practice court. Hair tied back, no makeup, no extravagant entourage, just Coco, her racket, and Gavin. Those who witnessed the first session recounted. No one was laughing. No one was joking. She just asked, "Where do we start?" Gavin didn't answer with tactics. He showed a video, a clip of Sabalenka yelling during the match. Then he paused at the 4-minute mark. "What do you see?" Coco was silent, then said, "I see a person fighting for her ego, not for tennis." From that moment, they started rebuilding, not just the technique, but the approach to the match. Gavin didn't ask Coco to change everything. He just asked, "Are you brave enough to face your weakest part?" And Coco did what few young athletes dare to do. She let the coach point out the weaknesses the world hadn't seen. The delay in her footwork, the lack of patience when down in points, and especially the vulnerability when provoked. They focused on the mentality first. Gavin had Coco meditate every morning and journal every night. Every practice ended with a question. Today, did you control the match, or were you controlled by your emotions? That's when the audience began to see the change. In the next tournament, Coco didn't win the title, but she played differently, calmer, more precise. Every shot was no longer a reaction, but a choice. And when asked about Gavin, she only said, "He didn't come to change me. He came to help me see myself." 3 weeks after the coaching scandal, a sensational image appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine. Coco Gauff standing next to Gavin McMillan, both wearing black sportswear, a gray background, eyes fixed straight at the camera with a single caption, "Let the game talk." No long-winded statements needed. No subtle jabs at the opponent. The photo became a declaration of a new era. Coco, no longer the adorable teenage player. She became a player with vision. And Gavin, no longer the discarded former coach. He was the architect of a resurrection journey. The magazine interview revealed many surprises. Gavin shared that when invited by Coco, he had turned down 2 other offers, with triple the income. His only reason for choosing Coco: she is not afraid of being criticized. She wants to be criticized in order to improve. And that very honesty was the foundation upon which they built a different strategy. Gavin didn't want Coco to just react to every opponent. He wanted her to force the match her way, like playing chess, not boxing. The team analyzed every minute detail: foot positioning, timing at the net, breathing rhythm during the serve. Everything was controlled to a cold level. The result? Coco returned to the top 3 after only 4 tournaments. At Indian Wells, she defeated 3 seeded players without losing a single set. An ESPN commentator remarked, "She is no longer playing to win. She is playing to prove herself right." And just as the public began to name Coco as a #1 contender for the next Grand Slam, Sabalenka appeared with a public challenge on Instagram. "Let's meet again. This time I'll keep my coach." Was the caption a disguised apology or just a media stunt? No one knew yet. But one thing was certain: the rematch was coming soon. And this time it wasn't just sports. It was honor. The event the whole world was waiting for took place at Roland Garros. The stands were packed, millions watched on screen. And for the first time in WTA history, a semifinal was dubbed by the media as the Battle of Character. Coco Gauff, the symbol of composure. Sabalenka, the representative of raw power. The atmosphere was tense. Every serve, every squeak of shoes on the clay court made the audience hold its breath. And the first surprise didn't come from the score, but from the coaching bench. Gavin McMillan appeared for the first time with a wireless headset, connected directly to an off-court data analysis group. A state-of-the-art strategy never before applied in the WTA. Sabalenka looked over, giving a slight smile. But her eyes were different, no longer contemptuous, but full of caution. The match unfolded like a tense symphony. Set 1, Coco was down 2-5. But instead of panicking, she changed tactics, retreating deep to the baseline, waiting for Sabalenka to make her own errors. Result, a comeback victory at 7-5. Set 2, Sabalenka surged back fiercely. She roared, slammed her racket, and pressured the court. Coco lost rhythm, losing 3-6. The final set was a psychological battle. Neither side gave way. In the ninth game, with the score at 4-4, Sabalenka made a double fault. Gavin didn't react at all. But Coco was different. She turned, nodding gently. Not a look of provocation, but a signal she was ready. 3 points later, Coco broke serve, then held her own service game to finish the match 6-4. The whole stadium erupted. But the thing that stunned the viewers was not the victory, but the action afterward. Coco walked over to shake Sabalenka's hand, a quick embrace, then turned toward Gavin. No exaggerated celebration, just a nod. The match ended. But the attitude is what will be remembered the longest. The next morning, social media was flooded with images of Coco and Gavin at the airport. No bodyguards, no entourage. She pulled her suitcase. He wore a backpack. Like two ordinary people who had just finished work. But to millions of followers, they were the new icons. In an interview with the New York Times, Gavin shared, "We didn't retaliate. We merely reacted in a disciplined way." The quote immediately went viral, printed on t-shirts, stickers, appearing on TikTok. But from this, a new wave of controversy arose. Does sport need more people like Coco? Or is the raw spirit of Sabalenka what truly captivates the audience? Because no one denies it. Sabalenka is compelling. She is explosive, unrestrained, always creating drama. While Coco, precise, composed, was sometimes deemed too cold, lacking emotion. Debates broke out everywhere. Twitter, Reddit, even morning talk shows. One side argued that Coco was the model of modern sport. Intelligent, kind, a good listener. The other side countered, if everyone was like her, sport would be boring. But then, a video clip was released from behind the scenes at Roland Garros, capturing Gavin embracing Sabalenka before she left the court. No sound, just the image. But everyone could read his lips saying, "No hard feelings." And perhaps that was the most valuable moment in the entire drama. Not because it resolved the conflict, but because it reminded us of one thing: you can win without holding a grudge. The story seemed to close after Roland Garros, but it only transitioned into a new chapter when the WTA announced a stunning decision. Coco Gauff was officially voted WTA Player of the Year. Not because she won a Grand Slam, not because of the highest point tally, but for a single criterion: impact on the game, her influence on the sport as a whole. Experts called this a culture-shifting moment for the WTA. A young player, once considered too mild, now became the new standard for a generation of athletes. Respect, strategy, and the spirit of rising after failure helped Coco surpass all technical rankings. American media celebrated. ESPN dedicated a special hour to analyze the Gauff ecosystem, from how she managed her team, selected partners, to how she handled the scandal. The New Yorker called her the quiet commander. Meanwhile, the reaction from Sabalenka was very silent. No statements, no posts, no counter-arguments. But insiders suggested she was changing her entire team, from strength coaches to sports psychologists. An effort to start over, or perhaps an escape. And Gavin? He declined all interview requests, leaving only one line on LinkedIn: "Results speak louder than noise." But the most touching moment came from an unexpected source: Sabalenka's mother. In a reshared podcast clip, she said, "I used to think my girl needed someone to make her stronger. Now I think She needs someone to make her gentler. Perhaps, after all, no one truly wins, if looking at the numbers. But some victories don't need a trophy. In October, at a charity event in New York, Coco Gauff and Gavin McMillan surprisingly appeared together on stage. Not in the roles of athlete-coach, but as two guest speakers talking about leadership and trust in modern sports. The audience of over 2,000 fell silent as Gavin recounted his first meeting with Coco. She didn't come to ask me what she should do. She came to ask, "Do you believe in me?" That question, he said, changed the entire way he coached. "I used to think my role was to provide answers. But Coco made me understand. Sometimes, the coach just needs to ask the right questions." The talk lasted 45 minutes. Not a single mention of Sabalenka. No subtle signs of taking a jab. But everyone understood this was the most beautiful conclusion to a drama that had rocked the tennis world. After the event, the video clip of Coco's speech reached 12 million views in 48 hours. In it, she said a sentence that silenced every stadium. "I don't play tennis just to win. I play to prove you can go far without stepping on others." The words resonated far beyond the world of sports. Financial newspapers quoted it. Management experts used it as a case study. Coco was not just an athlete. She became an icon for a new generation of leaders, leading by listening, not shouting. And in the front row, Gavin sat quietly, hands on his knees, his eyes fixed on the stage. Perhaps in that moment, he knew. He didn't just find a job again. He found the meaning of coaching again. The legacy of a decision. Throughout the history of women's tennis, rarely has there been a story as dramatic and yet as humane as the connection between Coco Gauff and Gavin McMillan. From a seemingly impulsive decision, hiring the coach her rival had just fired, Coco opened a new direction for how people view careers, loyalty, and the true value of victory. No longer just a story of winner-loser. This entire drama seemed to be a test of individual character. Sabalenka wasn't malicious. She was merely a representative of a generation under pressure to always be strong. But that very strength, when not accompanied by empathy, caused her to push the good people away from herself. Conversely, Coco Gauff isn't exactly an angel. She makes mistakes, she loses matches, she is silent, but all are deliberate choices. She chose to build, not break. She chose to listen to criticism instead of worshiping applause. And that is what makes a different kind of tennis player. This video doesn't just retell the drama between two players. It poses a bigger question. In a world where speed and fame are prioritized, is there still room for composure and respect? And if you followed through to the very end, perhaps you are also asking yourself, which side do I belong to? The side that chooses to win at all costs? Or the side that believes the way we win is what makes our name? Subscribe to Pro Tennis 360 so you don't miss the behind-the-scenes stories, the lessons beyond the court, and the characters that will make you look at sports through very different eyes. What do you think about this whole story? Who truly won? And if it were you, which side would you choose to stand on? Leave a comment below, because who knows, your perspective might be the next part of this debate.